3, 4 red lights. We are racing, and once again, Ardigo rockets off the line. Looks as though Luca Corberi has stalled on the grid. Marco Ardigo has made a brilliant start. He will lead them down in turn number 1, and the CRG of Puhaka tries the outside, but he gets caught in the marbles. They've all gone through the back part of the circuit quite cleanly. Great start by Simo Puhaka in the CRG. Bit of a traffic jam. Your leader, Ardigo, he was brilliant off the line. Abbas in second spot. This is how the pre-final played out until Abbas made a move. Who's got the speed over this 15-lap final? They come down the Vega tyres back straight for the first time, up now into 5th gear. Abbas in second. The CRG pilot of Simo Puhaka, who won the last round, is right behind him in third place. As they come around the final corner for the first time across the line, it is Ardigo from Abbas as Douglas Lundberg. Wow, that was a gutsy move up the inside of Jordan Lennox Lamb. That was just brilliant from the Swede. 140 k's an hour, 5th gear. Through that cosmic kart in sideways into turn 1. Lennox Lamb had no choice but to concede to the Swede. Marijn Kremers in the other Birol Art sits right behind him. Abbas, he's going to have to make a move on Ardigo, or he's going to come under attack himself by the last round winner, Simo Puhaka. Puhaka is in the slipstream. I think we're going to see a move here. Indeed, up the inside goes not one, but almost 2 CRGs. Abbas holds off. Kamponeski says he'll have a piece of this too. Somehow, Abbas has hold on. Holding on to that move may have just kept him in the race, because look at Marco Ardigo. It's not much, but it's a 4-kart lead. From there, Marco is very good at turning that into a 5-kart lead, a 6-kart lead, and then forget about it. You won't see which way he went. He's not the reigning world champion for nothing. Abbas has got a good run through as we watch the 25 CRG kart go through. Fabian Federer. Abbas. Oh, we've lost Lundberg. Lundberg and one of the Birol Art cars have spun at the exit of turn number 2. Abbas under pressure now from DeConto and Puhaka. Oh, both CRGs have gone through. This time, have they? Abbas cuts across. Holds on to third spot. Look at Ardigo. He's coming around onto the Vega tyres back straight. That time he looks over his shoulder. A lead of 0.3 of a second for the Tony Kart pilot. Abbas, he was in second. He's now back in fourth, and he's coming under attack from Flavio Kamponeski in the number 2 Tony Kart Vortex. Abbas does have speed in that Sodi kart, but he's stuck in traffic. He needs to get clear of those CRGs if he's to challenge. But the CRGs have got other ideas. As Fabian Federer goes racing through. He's behind the brilliant young Dutchman, Marijn Kremers. Look at Abbas go very, very wide. Federer with Kremers. Kremers holds on to it in the Birol Art. Behind Federer is Kozlinski. Tonon's made a great start. Then it's Foray rounding out the top 10. What a brilliantly talented field we've got here in KZ2. The finest kart racing drivers in the world. Marco Ardigo's gap was 0.3 of a second last time round, but it's closed up significantly. They put it into 5th gear on this infield short straight. It's Tony Kart leading CRG, and Sodi Kart as Marijn Kremers moves up into position number 6. He is now behind Flavio Kamponeski. Fabian Federer, the 2011 Euro champs, right behind him. The gap was 0.4 of a second last time between Ardigo and Puhaka as you watch Kamponeski go through. It's now down to 0.3 of a second. 10 laps to go at the end of this one. Marijn Kremers is absolutely flying. He's in position number 6, but he's done a 104.5. Fastest lap of the race though, the driver in second, Simo Puhaka, he's into the 1 minute 3s. He's done a 103.9. Every other driver so far is in the 104 second bracket. Watch down the Vega tyres back straight. Ardigo puts the power down nicely, using all the HP coming out of that Vortex engine. The short straight, Simo Puhaka, winner of the last round of the series, sits third in the standings coming into this final race. As we said in the pre-final, Ardigo's best laps are towards the end, traditionally at least. So Puhaka's going to have to make a move any time now if he wants to win it. There's Anthony Abbas racing through up the back straight. This is the 100-mile-an-hour kink. Puhaka up the inside. He's done it. Wow. The crowd watches on in disbelief. The reigning world champion. He won the title at this very circuit in September of last year. He's now sitting in second. The driver from Tampere in northern Finland. Let's watch the replay. Ardigo just took the traditional racing line. Puhaka had the slipstream. We saw that coming. There was nothing Ardigo could do about it. He sits in second spot. Paolo De Conto is in third. It's Tony Kart in a CRG sandwich. Marijn Kremers driving brilliantly just at the tail of this field in the Birrell Art. He is now up into position number 5. The young Dutchman from Eindhoven in Holland. There he is, the red and white car, one ahead of Jonathan Tonon. Jonathan Tonon's made a brilliant start also. Remember, he started way back on the 8th row of the grid in the Praga kart. Jonathan Tonon, a 1 minute 4 dead. And I mean that literally, 1 minute 4.000. The drivers in front of him doing a 1 minute 3.9, a 7 for Paolo De Conto. He did have the benefit of Ardigo slipstream. Puhaka, he has to do all the hard work himself on this super quick Sarno circuit. Down through the gearbox into the paddock hairpin, up this short infield straight into 5th gear, before braking for the slowest section of the circuit. Simo Puhaka took what he described as the biggest win of his career 2 weeks ago. At the 3rd round of this series, he's second, as you can see, in the virtual championship. Ardigo is the leader. He will take the title if he can just hold on to second spot. There's Kremers in the Birrell Art, head of Tonon. Federer, Kozlinski, Camponeschi. Camponeschi's falling down through the order. What's happened to the Italian? Flavio Camponeschi is effectively out of it, as Paolo De Conto, meanwhile, makes it a CRG 1-2. This is half race distance. While we were looking for Flavio Camponeschi, who is in 14th position, let's have a look at the replay. De Conto down the inside of Ardigo, he tried to fight back. It is now Puhaka, CRG 1. It is De Conto, CRG in second. And Abbas in the Sodi kart, now in third. Marco Ardigo is off the podium. He finished third in the opening round of the European Championship a week ago to his teammate Flavio Camponeschi, who had a big moment a lap ago. Camponeschi is now down in 14th, one ahead of Roberto Manducci, who's made a great start to be up into position number 15 in the Vemi kart. There's Ardigo. Look at the racing line they use here at Sarno. Very reminiscent of Hockenheim in Germany. Turn 1, there's the virtual championship. Ardigo has still got the title in his bag, despite currently being off the podium. Abbas will need to step onto the top of the podium to have any sort of chance, and hope something happens to Ardigo, which is very unlikely, given that he's a Tony Kart Racing Team factory driver. Onto the Vega tyres back straight. Puhaka, Paolo De Conto, Anthony Abbas, the Finn leading the Italian, leading the Frenchman. Ardigo starting to recover a little bit. But I tell you what, the driver who's absolutely flying is Marijn Kremers. In the Birrell Art, he's in 5th. From Eindhoven in Holland, there he is across the start-finish line. He's dragging Jonathan Tonon along with him. This is the 100-mile-an-hour top straight. You saw Simo Puhaka just grab 6th gear, flat out through the kink. See Abbas's car lock up under brakes and twitch sideways quite violently. 158 k's an hour down to 56 k's an hour in the space of about 15 metres. Massive G-forces on these drivers, around about 3.5 Gs on cornering, particularly on these curves right here. This is the Vega tyres back straight, lap number 10, 128 k's an hour right there. Before breaking into the paddock hairpin, Tonon is going to make a move, you would think, on Kremers. Unfortunately, we've lost Lundberg and Jordan Lennox-Lamb. Flavio Camponeschi is also out of the race, as is Mastetani and Vigorito. Puhaka's driving brilliantly, though. He's doing a 1 minute, 3.6 second lap time, as is De Conto behind him. Fabian Federer is 7th. Foray is 10th, so we've got 4 CRGs, 1st, 2nd, 7th and 10th. In this final round, look how Anthony Abbas uses the engine braking and the 4-wheel discs on that Sodi kart to wash off 100 k's an hour into the turn 2 hairpin. De Conto is actually 1/10 of a second faster than his Finnish teammate. The gap is 0.5 of a second out of the goal in the slipstream of Abbas. Tonon has got past Kremers, who's still driving well in 6th position. Kremers is going to come under assault from Fabian Federer. Behind Federer is Arno Kozlinski in the 2nd Sodi kart. Jorge Pescadore has got past Foray. He's now inside the top 10, the Spaniard from Valencia in Spain. Sideways through turn 1. There's Rick Drazen in the Ricardo kart. 140 k's an hour through that corner. There's Abbas leading out of the goal. Tonon. Let's see what times he's doing. 1 minute, 3.6. He's matching the leaders. Fastest driver on the track is Paolo De Conto in 2nd spot. Just 1/10 of a second faster than his teammate who leads. He does have the benefit of the slipstream at times, to be fair, which really means there's nothing between Puhaka and De Conto performance-wise in virtually identical equipment. Both Maxter-powered CRGs. There's Tonon in the blue Praga kart. He's driving brilliantly. Jonathan Tonon came from the 8th row of the grid in the Perilla-powered Praga kart. We have a close-up look of Paolo De Conto grabbing another gear. This is the 12th lap now. Kremers goes through. Jorge Pescador, there's Rick Drazen in the Ricardo kart. There, look at that. Paolo De Conto, fastest lap of the race. He's absolutely flying. Abbas goes a little bit wide. Ardigol is looking at making a move on the Frenchman. Abbas a little bit ragged that time. His tyres starting to go off. Has he set the kart to come on too early? Ardigol right in the Frenchman's shadow. Let's have a look down on the paddock hairpin. Surely comes the Italian. Indeed, he makes the move. Ardigol is back on the podium and looking at winning the 2015 title. Tonon, position number 5, having come from 16th or 17th on the grid. In fact, the 8th row of the grid for the Belgian. The race is not over yet, though. There's Ardigol going through number 1, head of Anthony Abbas, who's wringing the neck out of that Sodi kart. Paolo De Conto's in the slipstream. They're starting to slide. They're at the absolute limit. You could see them lock up under brakes, and the kart started to drift. Paolo De Conto in the slipstream of Simo Puhaka. Can Puhaka make it 2 round wins in a row, or will it be Paolo De Conto to stand on the top step of the podium? The last lap board is coming out next time around, down through the paddock hairpin. Ardigol has put a little bit of a gap between himself and Abbas. Abbas is off the podium. There they go through. They flash by at the back of your screen. Puhaka has not put a wheel wrong. Comes around the final corner for the second to last time. He will take the last lap board. Paolo De Conto grabs fifth gear, throws it sideways into turn one. There's Ardigo, Abbas in fourth spot, the number 44 TKART. You can see how hard they're driving. Watch them under brakes. Watch the karts twitch around. Although it was a much straighter line that time from Pulhaka, aware that a challenge could come at the last possible moment from his CRG teammate. Ardigo is looking at taking the title. Pulhaka, though, has driven brilliantly. Abbas coming into this round was second in the series, but he sits in fourth on the Vega tyres back straight for the last time. Up into fifth gear, coming into that left, right, left, the slowest section of the track. Unfortunately, we've lost the Dutchman Marijn Kremers. I'm sorry, it's the other Birrell Art Cup, but the checkered flag is coming out. 2 out of 2. The driver from Finland, Simo Pulhaka, makes it a CRG 1-2. Paolo De Conto comes home second.